Hello and welcome to Financing Med School, What You Need to Know. My name is Sophia. I'm Associate Director of Admissions here at AUC, and I'm joined by Sarah Jones from Financial Aid. And we will be kind of walking you through, she is the Student Finance Manager, walking you through a little bit about AUC and some info on financial aid. So why choose AUC? We have a U.S. model curriculum to prepare our students for the United States medical licensing examinations, more commonly known as the USMLE Step 1 and Step 2. We feature a collaborative approach to education taught by our expert faculty. We offer also a number of opportunities in the communities that our students live in and learn in. To give back to those communities as well as other communities around the world via our different campuses and elective rotation sites. We have a global network of alumni as well as strong residency attainment rates. Residency attainment, for those of you that may not know, is the postgraduate training our students receive, or all medical students receive in their specialty of choice. A little bit more about the advantages of AUC. You have the option to complete your clinical rotations in the US or UK. We have sites at different states, in different states all over the US, as well as sites in the UK. We also offer a very unique opportunity that is known as our Global Health Elective, where students have the chance to complete a fully immersive 6-week elective in a different country around the world. We have the option of the Dominican Republic, Uganda, Thailand, India, Vietnam, and Zimbabwe. And it's a really great opportunity, to learn about diverse patient populations, as well as carry that learning into your future practice as a physician. We provide an extremely high level of dedicated support to our students. It's a collaborative learning environment, so there's a lot of small group learning, small class sizes in general, and high access to our faculties. Most of our faculty are MDs and PhDs, as well as other equivalent degrees. Like I mentioned before, we have excellent residency attainment rates across specialties. In the last year's residency application cycle, our students achieved a 95% first-time residency attainment rate. So what that means is of the cohort of students who were first eligible to apply for residency in the 2024-25 cycle, 95% of those achieved a residency spot. So to illustrate that a little bit further, in 2025, we had 277 residency placements across 21 specialties in 37 U.S. states and territories. Like I said, that was a 95% first-time residency match attainment rate, and our USMLE passes our pass rates are 81% for first-time pass rate for Step 1 and 93% first-time pass rate for Step 2. As I said, we have a large 8,500 plus strong alumni from 80 different countries practicing all over the world. And our grads are eligible to apply to practice in the US, Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia. So I will turn it over here to Sarah to give us some details on what we need to know about financial aid.
Thank you, Sophia. I appreciate you joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're all here for. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And really just want to say congratulations on your interest in and moving forward with, your medical education journey. So whether you start in a few weeks in January or you're just getting some information, we're going to be here to help you from prior to your first day of class through graduation. As Sophia said, I'm Sarah Jones, Manager of Student Finance. Today we're going to discuss different funding options for you here at AUC. We will review required documentation to process U.S. federal aid as well as costs and budgeting. There are various funding options available for students who do require financial assistance. We, of course, do have payment plans. We also have scholarships, grants. We do process veterans education benefits, U.S. federal student loans, private loans, payment plans, and private loans, personal lines of credit. International students can explore funding options in their respective home countries. U.S. federal options. So federal financial aid is really dedicated to support U.S. citizens and eligible non-citizens in your pursuit of education. As a graduate, you're going to have access to two types of federal aid, the first being direct unsubsidized loans and the second being federal direct graduate plus loans. Both of these options do really offer the opportunity to invest in your future by helping you manage expenses. It is really important to remember, while you're in school, there is a deferment option as well as a 6-month grace period after you graduate or fall below half-time when using these loans. Interest does accrue, but you do have the flexibility to defer payments while you are attending at least half-time. As with most things with the government, they want their fair share. So these loans do come with a fee, which is deducted from the loan before the funds are dispersed to your account. Many of you, you've been through college before, you've utilized loans previous to this, but you guys are in a transition period. Recently, the Big Beautiful Bill was passed, and we will discuss that soon. I know a lot of you probably have questions about it. But currently, you can borrow up to $10,250 in unsubsidized loan each semester, and the federal direct loans have a lifetime limit of $138,500. This is inclusive of any loan taken out, even in your undergrad degree. However, beginning July 1st of 2026, the annual borrowing limit for new graduate students under this new policy for graduate students is going to be, you'll be able to borrow up to $50,000 in unsubsidized loan per award year, which is an increase of $29,500 for unsubsidized loan. For graduate professional students, the cap is going to be increased from $138,500, including all loans, to $200,000, which excludes any amount that was borrowed for undergraduate programs. So there are some changes. We're very well aware of them, working hard at getting you some options and making sure that you guys are well informed on the changes that are occurring within the new bill. These limits do include amounts borrowed for any prior enrollment in graduate and professional programs, but that undergraduate loan limit is going to be excluded from the $200,000. All right, so even if you've reached that limit, the Grad Plus loan is going to be remain a viable option for you up until June 30th of 2026. If you guys are enrolling as a first-time medical student, July 1st, 2026, or in future terms, you will not be able to qualify for the Grad Plus loan. All students that are going to start for January and May are going to be part of a legacy program where you are going to be able to be eligible for the Grad Plus loan as long as you're enrolled prior to July 1st, 2026. This is right around the corner. So if you are on the call and you have interest in the September 2026 start or after, we are working on viable options for you. We have signed a letter of intent with Sallie Mae. For those of you who don't know, Sallie Mae is a very large, well dependable, highly reputable student loan company that does process financial loans. They also service Department of Education loans. So Sallie Mae is going to be one of the companies, primarily the company that we're going to use in the future to give you some options. Interest rates, are running about 8% for these loans. So current unsubsidized loans are 7.94, and then the Grad Plus loans are running you about 8.94. So, those are subject to change, just kind of depending on how the Fed issues things. But, you know, embarking on the journey of applying for financial aid for the first time can be daunting. I know a lot of you in this room have done this before, but we just need to make sure that you have all your documents on file, make sure that, you know, you have everything you need in line, and you know, just let us help you. We'll be here along the way. Let me see this next slide real quick. All right, so we'll kind of go over the timeline, but a major point of emphasis is, for those of you that don't really know what I'm talking about yet, on July 4th, 2025, the president signed into law a budget reconciliation bill known as the Big Beautiful Bill. This enacts changes to federal financial aid programs through June 30th of 2026. So Grad Plus loans will still be available to new borrowers in a Title IV eligible program such as ours, and remain a viable option for you, but it is being phased out. So we're going to continue our efforts to identify and share options for you with funding alternatives such as private loans. But, you know, we're here to help. We want to help you navigate these options and, you know, really find the best financial resource that meets your needs. I want to encourage you, if you are not planning on getting a Grad Plus loan, do it anyway. You really want to solidify your eligibility to participate in the legacy plan. If you do not have a Grad Plus loan prior to July 1st, 2026, you will not be eligible, even if you're, you know, still going to school. If you are a current Grad Plus loan borrower, the upcoming changes will affect you eventually. The transition period, also known as the legacy period, has been established to give you some time to adjust and plan accordingly. So very clear, Grad Plus borrowers who are already enrolled as of June 30th, 2026 can continue to receive Grad Plus loans. The loans will either need to until either the expected time remaining in their program or for 3 academic years, whichever comes first. Again, I'll say that again just to clarify. Grad Plus borrowers who are already enrolled as of June 30th, 2026 can continue to receive Grad Plus loans until either the expected time remaining in their program or 3 academic years. All right, so we're going to look at a timeline. Please do the FAFSA. We want to make sure that you have your 2024 and 2025 FAFSA on file. If you could please go ahead and submit both of them. You want to complete a FAFSA each year while you're in school. And the FAFSA is actually available for completion every year on October 1st. I know a couple years ago we had it delayed till December, but it's back on track. It's very critical for you to apply for this. We can't talk to you about what you're eligible for if we don't have that FAFSA on file. The FAFSA can be completed on studentaid.gov, and our school code is G22444. So studentaid.gov, and the school code is G22444. Not only do you need to complete your FAFSA, but these documents here, I don't know if you want to screenshot it, print it, send it to carrier pigeon, whatever you got to do. I need you to complete these documents. We need you to have a master promissory note on file for your Grad Plus loan, as well as your direct unsub loan. If you do not have the master promissory notes, which is your promise to repay, your loans will not disperse. You also want to apply for your Grad Plus loan. These loans are credit-based, so they can be approved or denied based on credit. If you want to, you can also look at getting an endorser, so a co-signer. You also need to complete entrance counseling. So these 5 steps are going to be what you need to get your loans processed. Once we have all those things on file, we can get your loans moving forward. So another part of the timeline is, you know, we complete all your documents, you send them to us through studentaid.gov. We get your FAFSA. We will send you an offer letter letting you know how much you qualify for. I really encourage you, don't wait till step 4 here to complete your required documents. Go ahead and submit those 5 things, you know, right there when you're on studentaid.gov. Just go ahead and knock it out. Tuition and fees typically are charged about a month, maybe 3 weeks before classes start. So you'll be able to budget and make sure that you're on track, not to have any balance come day one. If all requirements are completed, your aid is going to disperse within 10 days of the start of your class. So I know a lot of you are going to be looking to have a refund in place or a credit balance issued to you from your student loans in order to, live on the island. There's not much time to work, the very limited opportunities to have a job, while you're on island in your medical science classes. But, we do have the option to look into issuing that credit balance quite early. You may get that, within 3 to 5 days if you have direct deposit signed up. Otherwise, if you have it mailed to somewhere in the States, it could be 7 to 10 days. If you're already on island, we'll mail it there as well. I'll go ahead and pause real quick. Are there any questions in the chat right now before I go forward with tuition and fees?
Not quite yet. We did have, I don't know if you want to save it to the end, but there were some questions about options for international students. And also I see some hands raised. Could you please drop any questions that you may have into the question box and we will call them out at the end.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So international students, and I'll get to a slide with Canada. We do process quite a bit of funding options from international students. It just really depends, where you're coming from. Many options for you are going to be, working with third-party billing, doing any kind of wire transfer. A lot of times international students will have limits on the amount they can send, so we can set up a payment plan where that wire should be sent, timely. Tuition and fees are due on day one. So we want to make sure that you are going through the steps and making sure you have everything you need on file prior to day one. Canadian students, and I'll kind of start here, we do process OSAP. So depending on your place of residency and province, we will process your Canadian loan forms for you. OSAP forms are processed once a semester, so you will see a bit of a delay in funding. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means that we only process it one time per semester. So if you go ahead and get in the queue, those will be, processed in order of receipt. You definitely want to scan the QR code. Financial aid and scholarships are available to our international students. We just want to make sure that you have your documents on file and really that we're having the conversation and we know what is expected. All right, tuition fees and housing charges are automatically billed to your account each semester. We do have a very strict trimester schedule, which includes fall, spring, and summer. These terms are obviously going to have charges when they accrue. It's imperative that tuition and fees are settled on day one of classes. If you need alternative funding methods in place, we will know if your financial aid documents are on file. I'm not going to send you a bill if you have the pending disbursement, right? We can see all of the pending aid that is coming in. For a comprehensive breakdown, you can go to our website. Just look at AUC medical school funding on our financial aid page. Thinking about tuition fees and books, the cost of attendance does have a couple different elements in order to, have you process U.S. Title IV financial aid, also known as student loans. So we do have a calculation that we have to abide by from the Department of Ed. The federal financial aid is offered based on a cost of attendance, which is established in accordance with two types of expenses, direct and indirect. Direct expenses are charges that are going to be on your student account. This is tuition, fees, books, health insurance costs if you need it, housing. Indirect expenses are things that you're going to incur not billed by the university. If you're living off campus, this can be living expenses, transportation expenses, personal expenses, childcare costs, personal expenses, all kind of things go into the element of indirect costs. So we'll kind of keep it moving with the timeline. When your federal financial aid is dispersed, it will first apply to current semester charges and expenses that are on your account at the time of disbursement. So any remaining funds are sent to the student as a credit balance to help you cover your indirect costs. This makes it really important from a budgeting perspective. So students who monitor and are proactive in your federal financial aid process just really use us as a resource, right? We want to be here to help you. We are here to help you. You can give us a call and we'll help you work it out. Keep in mind, Title IV is only going to cover education-related expenses. This means that you should not really rely on credit card payments, wanting to use Title IV funding to go on a vacation. It's still important to factor in your non-educational expenses, but you need to identify which financial options you have. Um, Something I was thinking of. Spouse, partner, dependent, pet expenses are not covered by financial aid. Just want to make sure that you have a plan in place for anything that you need to use to cover them. The exception to this is childcare. You can use Title IV funding to help cover some childcare expenses. So if you bring your child to Island, or we have one student now whose spouse is in Germany, and their childcare is being provided for the child that's there with them as the spouse works. So some of the situations are very unique. If you have questions, just give us a call and we'd love to walk you through that and help you out. Many of you are going to be professional working students. There's learning how to budget effectively is really essential for you as a medical student. Not being able to work. Some of our students have started influencing, so they're making money online, but having a real 9 to 5 while you're in medical school is not part of the plan in most situations. So a well-planned budget really not only helps you manage your finances, reduces stress, it promotes long-term financial stability. And budgeting isn't just about money. It can be a powerful tool for overall well-being and really academic success. So you want to think about, reviewing your monthly budget, whatever works for you, daily, weekly, monthly. Just keep on track and in line with the financial goals, that you've set for yourself. Cut out unnecessary expenses. You want to live within your means. This means you won't always have the money to go out and do fun things or go out to eat. I know a lot of us in undergrad, we were eating ramen, right? Might have to go back to those days for a little while you're in med school. But I'm in my PhD program right now, and it's intensive. I'm not gonna lie. So you got to get ready to buckle down and really save for your future goals. So whether that's saving for graduation or putting some money to a side, it's always important to think about the future. So we'll kind of get into a little bit of debt management just because I think it's really important and critical for you guys to be aware of that as you go through this program. You don't want to borrow more than you need. These loans have to be repaid. You are going to be making probably a lot of money as a doctor, but you don't want to have unnecessary expenses, and understand that interest builds. If you do have an excessive credit balance and you're getting a $30,000 refund, we can send it back. You can return any unused portion within 120 days of disbursement. So if you're getting these large refunds, $15,000, and you're thinking, man, I really don't need all that. Let's work with us and we'll send it back to the loan company, right? Like I said, the interest does accrue, and you can make payments while you're in school. It's not a problem if you're able and have the means to on those Title IV U.S.-based loans. But it's important. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your credit history while you're in school. Stuff like that can impact your home or getting a job. So just stay informed. We want to make sure that you're doing the best while you're in school. Just have a good plan on hand. I think we're about ready to get to the end. Just want to send out another reminder, for the big beautiful bill for graduate students, there will be no changes until July 1st, 2026. New students after July 1st, 2026 will be subject to the elimination of Grad Plus loans. So that is something that you really need to think about whenever you're planning your new student journey. So we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Anything in the chat? I think we're
Oh, yes, it's busy in the chat.
Okay.
All right, so this is a two-parter.
Okay.
If I took Grad Plus loans in May of 22, am I grandfathered in? That's part one. And part two is, and to confirm, we qualify for direct loans up to 200K or 150K.
Okay, sure. So, okay, two parts to that. Your prior Grad Plus loans are not going to be considered whenever if you have a break in enrollment and it's been a significant amount of time, this new program that you're seeking out here at AUC is going to be the determinant of you being able to be grandfathered in and get those Grad Plus loans past June 30th. The new loan limit for let me make sure. Yeah, the new loan limit for unsubsidized loans is $200,000. Grad Plus loans are not included in that. You can get up to $50,000 per award year. So that's where the 50 came in.
Awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
So for students starting in the January 26 term, would the legacy period cover all the semesters through the end of the program, or would there be a portion of the program that we would have to cover by other means?
It's going to really depend on the student, and I'll be honest with you, there is a time where you do have a break in enrollment. However, it's a planned break in enrollment when you're studying for step one. Depending on how long you take to study for step one, you could lose eligibility uh, if you are withdrawn from the university in order to study for step one. So step one is the test that you really do have a planned break in enrollment. Typically students are taking about 18 weeks. It's not a long break, but you do have the option, and some need it, it just depending on kind of what's going on. In order to go into clinicals, you have to have a passing score on step one. So there may be a time unintentionally where you do take more time off than planned. So I would really, encourage you to, during this transition period, you are going to have up to 3 academic years with no real break in enrollment to maintain Grad Plus loan eligibility. And that is going to vary from student to student. If you do have to take some time off, it's going to go away.
All right, next question. From the new bill, it states that the grandfather policy would be 3 years or when the program finishes, whichever comes first.
Mm-hmm.
Since medical school is 4 years, would students starting in May have to take out private loans for the last few terms? Or does the May 2026 start student have the Grad Plus loan the entire time?
Yeah, the May 2026 start is going to be the last start that we offer where any student would be able to qualify to be grandfathered in. If you start in September, that would not apply. You would be ineligible for Grad Plus loans. So again, we did sign a letter of intent with Sally Mae. So we are going to have really, really solid options in place for you. If for whatever reason you don't qualify for a Grad Plus loan, whether it's, your credit wasn't able to meet the requirements or you took a break of enrollment, Sally Mae is our top partner in providing you with viable options in way of private loans. We are asking them that they remain heavily competitive and really give you some solid options. I am working really close with our regulatory affairs team on that, and we're making sure that we have things in place for you as Grad Plus will not be an option for many students in the future. We want to make sure that you have that available for you.
With the new federal system capping professional student borrowing at 200,000, will this limit include the graduate loans I already borrowed before starting med school?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the preferred range of credit score is for the Graduate Plus loan?
So they're getting a little stricter. We've seen some come through, at 600, 625, maybe even 575 might be the lowest I've saw years ago. But right now they're getting closer to 600, 625 as being on the lower spectrum. Credit score itself is not the only determinant. They do look at your capacity and ability to pay back the loan. So when Grad Plus loans are being considered, yes, they're credit based, but it's also not the only thing they look at. So I would say there's no real actual hardcore, cutoff of a credit score to really disqualify you or provide a denial decision. But if you are concerned about that, I would pull your credit report. You can go get a free one at freecreditreport.com once a year and take a look. See how you can scrub it. Make sure you get your credit score up before you start, looking to that as an option.
How are terms 6 to 10 covered with student loans? Are the clinical semesters funded the same way as basic science, or is the financial aid process different?
No, it's the same. Just like I was saying, if you are going to take a long time, to study for step one, and I'm talking, 6 months, like long time, you may not qualify for that Grad Plus loan if you have a break in enrollment. But yeah, we were going to process everything the same. You being in clinicals is not going to be a determinant of any other type of funding. One thing I will say though is if you guys are going to attend the UK campus for your medical science classes, the UK campus for medical science is not Title IV eligible, so you would need to look at alternative funding options if you are going to University of Central Lancashire to take medical science.
Let's see. So if I'm accepted to, or I choose to attend the preparatory program or Med Origins, starting in the May term, since I wouldn't be starting medical school at AUC until September of 26, what does that mean for the Grad Plus loan?
So that's a great question. Med Origin is a course in a feeder program. So you would be admitted to the university and qualify for your Grad Plus loan as a continuing student eligible for Title IV. The Med Origin program is Title IV eligible, so you would be able to participate in the Grad Plus loan option as a Med Origin student and then continue over into the AUC program.
Okay. If I do my clinical rotations in the UK, so just year 3, not an international student, are those covered by federal loans?
They are. So your clinicals, if you decide to take them in the United Kingdom, are Title IV eligible. It's just the medical sciences, if you choose to take that at the UK campus, the medical sciences are not Title IV eligible in the UK, but clinicals are.
Is a break in enrollment considered anything longer than 6 months for student loan purposes?
We're honestly still getting clarification on that. We've asked our regulating body, which is NASFA, the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, and we're waiting on an answer. That was actually a question that I raised because I was concerned about step one. I want to know specifically how many months I have before I, am not eligible for Grad Plus loans in the future. So I don't know the answer to that right now, but I have asked and I'm waiting on a response.
Give me, sorry, just a moment here. I'm going through that.
And the thing about that is we want to be honest with you in the program. We want you to be able to rely on us to have the answers. Sometimes like in this moment, that's a big determinant, right? You guys are going to need to know, am I going to have access to this funding source? And with all of the changes occurring, I just honestly, I don't know. I am seeking the answer though. And I really empathize with you guys right now. This is a lot to consider, it really is. And I hear you. What else? I'm sorry, Sophia.
So no, you're good. You're good. So is there a difference in cost in terms of the like in US versus Canadian dollars for our Canadian students?
Well, there's no difference in cost. What you're going to find though is that we do have to process the exchange rate. So if you need to pay us in Canadian dollars, we don't accept Canadian dollars, we have to accept US dollars. So you'll have to go through that conversion rate, which may be a difference in cost for you ultimately, but not in our charges. We'll still charge the same, but you will have whatever impact, good or bad, occurs from the exchange rate at the time of payment.
So here's one I can answer for you. Is Med Origin the same as MERP? No, it is not. Med Origin is, so MERP is a 15-week online program designed to prepare students for the rigors of med school. And it is an online program that you would do from the comfort of your own home. Med Origin is also a 15-week program, but it is on campus and provide, and you're going to class in person with faculty at our campus in St. Martin. So there's a little bit of a different kind of environment. For some students, it might be more convenient to complete MERP and, get their ducks in a row to start school. For students that can, up and leave and go to St. Martin and do the program. It is a really great program. One thing I will say though, the Med Origin is open to students that have taken the MCAT for if they're international students. If they're not, if you're international and you have not taken the MCAT, you are not eligible for Med Origin.
And I'll interject here, another difference between MERP, the Medical Readiness Program, and Med Origin is that MERP is not eligible for Title IV. We can process a private loan for MERP, we can take payments for MERP, but we will not be able to process federal student loans for MERP. We can process federal loans for Med Origin.
If my federal loan eligibility ends after the legacy period, will AUC help guide me through the private loan process? Also, for lenders like Sallie Mae, are the credit requirements similar to Grad Plus, or are they typically more strict or more flexible?
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely, absolutely will help you. I mean, we'll help you before you get to that, even if you want to look at eligibility. I don't have what's called a preferred lender list, so I don't really have something where I'll say, okay, go look at this lender or look at that lender. Sallie Mae will probably be our primary, lender for us to have you contact. And really, we are customizing a loan program for you. So that's still kind of to be determined. I don't know if the credit criteria from this loan program that we're creating with Sallie Mae will be similar to the Grad Plus, credit options, but I would imagine it would be pretty similar. We want you to get the loan. We don't want you to not have access to funding. So we're doing all we can to make it a really viable option for you.
Also, I'm dropping, some students had questions about cost of attendance.
Okay.
So I'm dropping a link to the cost of attendance guide.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm also going to drop a link here on scholarships so you all can see those as well.
Speaking of scholarships, we do have internal scholarships. I will give you a couple of websites to go to. Peterson's is a phenomenal website for graduate students. They really focus on graduate students. Fastweb.com, FASTWEB. That's another one that's really good. Scholarships are going to be out there for anything that makes you unique. If you're redheaded or left-handed, or you have a different heritage or a different ethnicity, there's going to be something out there. Religious faith. There's going to be something out there that you're going to qualify for. You just got to put in the work. These scholarships are not going to be knocking on your door. You have to go knock on their door, right? So build a profile, put stuff in there that you think you're going to, want to talk about. You know, if you have something that, you know, maybe you have a PhD and you wrote a dissertation, you want to get connected with people that are in your networks, and, you know, make sure that you're asking, you know, hey, do you guys have any funding options for medical students? People are not going to come hand you money. You have to go find it. So I would really encourage you to go to those couple websites. Scholarships.com is another one. Of course, it's really geared toward undergrad, but you'll find some, you know, good options there as well. But yeah, don't just rely on the AUC internal scholarships. They're definitely not going to pay your whole way. So you want to start, you know, asking around and looking online. You know, go to Microsoft Copilot, go to ChatGPT, have them build you a scholarship search. And if you ever have any questions about the validity of a scholarship, you can ask us. I would just encourage you, never pay for a scholarship. Do not give your social security number out. Just be really careful about sharing personally identifiable information. You know, as with anything, you have to be cautious. But if it looks like a scam, it smells like a scam, it's probably a scam. So those three websites that I gave you, Peterson's, FastWeb, and, you know, scholarships.com are viable, or not viable, they're reputable. We've seen tons of scholarships get awarded from there, so give it a shot, you know.
So we had a question for international scholarships. I can take this one. Yes, we do offer scholarships, a scholarship for international students. That is a total of $90,000, and that amount gets divided across your 10 semesters. So you would get $9,000 off of each term. You know, for your 10 semesters that you're at AUC. I also dropped in the chat box that I linked to all of our scholarships, because we do have a number of academic partnerships and grants that you might be eligible for. So I do encourage you all, both US and international students, to look at those, because those are additional funds that we can stack on top of your scholarships. Okay.
We also offer, yeah, I was going to say, a really good option for medical school as well. If you are a veteran and qualify for Chapter 33 post 9/11 GI Bill, we also are a yellow ribbon participant. So depending on how many months of eligibility you have left, you know, you could cover a big chunk of your schooling. So if you do have VA benefits, please send me your DD-214. Please send me your certificate of eligibility. If you need help with those, just contact our office and we can get you pointed in the right direction.
Our housing is housing and health insurance included in the Grad Plus loan coverage, and are those costs deducted from the loan before students receive their refund?
So the health insurance is not. There is an authorization that you can sign to allow Title IV funding to cover it. But if you do not sign the authorization, we will not cover it. So your refund would be, you know, minus any health insurance costs that you have. It does cover housing. So if you have housing charges applied to your account with on-campus housing, it'll cover that prior to any refund being issued.
Okay, this one I don't know.
These are great questions.
With the scholarships, correct me if I'm wrong here, Sarah. With the scholarships, would students starting in January and May 26 be able to backload parts of the scholarship for the last few semesters to protect students from entering private loan lenders?
No, I mean,
no.
oh, sorry, I was I didn't let you even answer. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, so depending on the scholarship, there are some, like the international scholarship and the Canadian scholarship, that are a fixed amount that gets divided across your 10 semesters starting semester 1. And there's no way to front or backload those. Then we have some of the other merit-based scholarships for our US students or MCAT takers that have a certain amount that is fixed across the semesters, with some escalators, depending on, let's say, how well you do on step 1 and some other things. Again, you can see all of those in the link I sent in the chat to see which one applies to you. But from my understanding, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, we can't really like front load or back load the funds. They get applied usually evenly across the time that you're there.
Yeah, I agree.
Do clinical rotations in the UK come with extra money to be paid? No, the tuition is the same for for all clinical semesters. It's not by location, if that makes sense. I mean, the cost of living in a certain location might be more than another, but not something that we charge you, so to speak.
Yep.
Yes, someone's asking about this being recorded. Yes, it will be recorded, and you will receive a copy of the recording. So I don't know if you want to take this one, Sarah, but I can if you'd like.
Okay.
As an accepted student, am I able to apply for additional scholarships, or are the scholarships offered during admissions the only ones available?
No, I would encourage you to apply for scholarships throughout your program. You may find that even some scholarships are specific to second, third year medical students. Some scholarships that you find will require you not to be a new student, right? So again, just please throughout your career, your educational journey, keep applying, keep applying, keep applying. I cannot encourage that enough. Those scholarships are out there, and people have quite a bit of money that they want to give away. I wish I could do it for you.
Yeah, and we have some smaller awards that you can apply for as a current student as well. Again, the link is in the chat box, so I do encourage you to check it out.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, just that's it. Just check it out. It's a really exhaustive list. You might want to take some time to read it after the presentation because there's a lot of them.
As a company, AUC is owned by Adtalem, and they're a global education company. We have a scholarship called the Empower Scholarship that is actually employee funded. So we, set aside some of our dollars to help you, get through school. That scholarship does come out annually, so you'll receive an email. Anybody can apply, new student, current student. I'm actually on the scholarship review committee for one of our other institutions. So
Me too.
I love reading your stories. Please, please apply for the Empower Scholarship. It'll make a little dent, right? It probably won't pay for everything, but it's cool really to see, the reasons and your why, behind why you're doing what you're doing. I really enjoy reading your stories. Some of them, man, they're sure tearjerkers, that's for sure. But just get that writing practice in, making sure that you're telling your story how you want it to be told, and give it a shot.
Are there scholarships available for transfer students? I believe there might be some, but I would encourage you to check the link. Okay, well, we're almost at time. I think we have reached the bottom of the questions. So I'm also going to drop my email address and my contact info in the chat in case, I'm happy to forward any questions for our accepted students to your new student liaisons, and, anybody that, you would need to reach out to. Oh, here's one last question. There's no separate application for the international scholarship. What is the criteria for selection? Basically, in short, it is that you are an international student, so a student not from the United States. But the exact language I will read to you now, so you have a better idea here. So you do not need to apply for the scholarship. It would be automatically awarded upon acceptance, right? So the specific eligibility requirements are: provide evidence of graduation at an international undergraduate university or any accredited university outside of the student's home country. An international university is defined as any accredited university outside of Canada, the US, and Puerto Rico. Incoming first semester students are eligible, as are transfer students. If a transfer student is accepted, granted advanced standing, and scholarship eligible, the student's maximum award amount is dependent on his or her semester of placement, and the lifetime value will be prorated. Students do not need to apply for the scholarship. And then it's really long, so definitely check the link. And like I said, I will drop my information in the chat box in case you need me to forward any questions to Sarah or to other teams in admissions.
I will say too, on the screen here, we are on island time, so we are out of here at 4 p.m. Central, not 5. So I will update that for the next group, but we are here till 4. Well, thank you guys so much. Here's our email. So this will create a case to my team. If you need anyone, we have Tina, Michael, Gabby, and Hermot ready to service you. Those are your financial aid officers, and they are, you know, ready at the helm, ready to service you and help you with anything you need. But you know, you can give us a call or hit us up on the email. If you already are a student, you can also submit a case through your student portal.
Well, like I said, my email is also here in the chat, and thank you so much, everyone, for attending. And have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.